I just killed my parents. A barefoot 14-year-old stands outside a church at dawn, phone trembling in his hand. No tears, no panic, just surrender. This is Trevor Lee. 3 hours ago, he called his best friend to say goodnight. How did I love you, bro, turn into murder? March 18, 2019. Trevor was just 9 years old. His mom Brandy posted on Facebook, "This little boy gives me pure hell. Everything I did to my parents, I'm getting it back times 10. Y'all keep us in prayers." 6 years later, those prayers weren't enough. Trevor walked to that church on August 5, 2025, called 911, confessed to double murder. Sometimes the warning signs aren't hidden. Sometimes they're posted for everyone to see. But nobody was looking. Carrie Beeman was scrolling through TikTok when his phone buzzed. Monday, August 5th. Just after midnight, Trevor's name lit up the screen. "Hey man, what's up?" Carrie answered, still half watching videos. "Just wanted to say goodnight. Love you, bro." Trevor's voice sounded different, calm in a way that felt wrong, like someone who had made a decision. "You good?" Carrie asked. "Yeah, I'm good now." The line went dead. Carrie stared at his phone. Something felt off. But Trevor was always the deep one, the friend who said, "I love you," without shame. He went back to scrolling. 3 hours later, that same friend would destroy two lives and shatter a community. The argument started over grades. Trevor's report card, another C in math. David Lee, 44, hardworking father, wanted better for his son. Brandy Smith, 45, stressed mother, backed him up. "You're not applying yourself," David said. "I am trying," Trevor replied, voice flat. "Not hard enough," Brandy added. "We've been through this." The conversation escalated. Voices raised. The same pattern they danced for years. But this time was different. Trevor walked to his father's gun safe. He knew the combination David had taught him: gun safety, responsibility, the weight of holding a weapon. Never imagining those lessons would end like this. 2 gunshots shattered the quiet of Silver Point. David Lee, shot dead in the hallway. Brandy Smith, shot dead in their bedroom. Their son stood over the carnage. No tears, no regret visible on his face. Just done. Trevor set the gun down, walked outside. No shoes on his feet. The night air was cool against his skin as he started the mile-long journey to Middleburg Baptist Church. Each step deliberate, each breath measured. He wasn't running from what he'd done. He was walking toward his reckoning. The church sat quiet in the pre-dawn darkness. Trevor pulled out his phone, dialed 911.911 operator. 911. "What's your emergency?" "Trevor, I just shot my parents." 911 operator. "You did what, honey?" "Trevor, I killed my parents. They're dead. I need to pray." No screaming, no breakdown, just a 14-year-old boy who sounded relieved. Sheriff Michelle Cook would later say, "It was one of the most chilling calls she'd ever heard. Not because of anger or panic, but because of the complete absence of emotion, like someone had finally exhaled after holding their breath for years." Here's what makes this story terrifying. Trevor Lee wasn't a monster. Not to the people who knew him. Ask his teachers. Respectful, quiet, turned in assignments on time. Ask his classmates. Funny when you got close. Helpful with homework. Never caused drama. Ask Carrie Beeman. "He was my brother, my best friend. The guy who remembered everyone's birthday." No drugs. No criminal record. No signs of the troubled kid you'd expect from headlines like this. Trevor loved anime, played Xbox too much, made Carrie laugh until his stomach hurt. So, how does a good kid become a killer? The answer isn't simple. It never is. If this story is hitting different, you need to subscribe right now. These aren't just stories, these are warnings. The next one might help you recognize the signs in someone you love. Hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about David Lee and Brandy Smith. Because 6 years ago, they weren't victims, they were just parents trying their best. David Lee, 44, construction worker, early riser, the type of man who believed in hard work and personal responsibility. He taught Trevor to shoot at the local range safety first, respect the weapon, understand the weight of what you're holding. A gun isn't a toy, he'd say. It's a tool that can save lives or destroy them. You have to choose which. David wasn't perfect. He had a temper when stressed, raised his voice when Trevor's grades slipped, expected his son to man up when life got hard, but he also showed up. Every basketball game, every school event, every time Trevor needed a ride. Brandy Smith, 45. The mom who held everything together, worked part-time at a local daycare while managing the household. She made sure homework got done, dinner was on the table, and everyone knew they were loved, even when that love came with rules. Brandy was the enforcer. Curfews, chores, expectations. She was also the mom who posted that Facebook cry for help in 2019. But here's what made this family special. They didn't just raise Trevor, they practically raised Carrie Beeman too. Carrie's own family situation was complicated. Absent father, overwhelmed mother. When he needed a place to belong, the Lee Smith household said yes. Come eat dinner with us. Want to stay the night? You're always welcome here. David and Brandy treated Carrie like their own son. Birthday presents, Christmas morning, family vacations. The family that saved one boy would be destroyed by another. March 18, 2019. Brandy Smith Lee was having one of those days. Trevor, just 9 years old, had been acting out. Defiant, argumentative, testing boundaries in ways that exhausted her. She turned to social media, the way so many parents do when they're overwhelmed and need to vent. This little boy gives me pure hell. Everything I did to my parents, I'm getting it back times 10. Y'all keep us in prayers, she posted it with laughing emojis. The way parents do when they're trying to make light of something that's actually breaking them inside. The post got a few likes, a couple of hang in there comments. One friend shared her own parenting struggles, but nobody asked, do you need help? Are you safe? Is Trevor safe? Nobody dug deeper, because we don't. We scroll past other people's pain and tell ourselves it's not our problem. What if someone had responded differently? What if someone had asked the hard questions? Would David and Brandy still be alive today? Carrie Beeman hasn't slept since Monday night. He's replaying every conversation, every hangout, every moment Trevor seemed off. But here's the thing that's eating him alive. Carrie lived in that house. He wasn't watching this family from the outside, he was inside it. Part of it, he saw the good parts, birthday celebrations, where Brandy made Trevor's favorite cake, family movie nights where David would fall asleep in his recliner, Christmas mornings where Carrie got presents too because you're family. But he also saw the tension, the strict rules, the high expectations, the pressure that seemed to squeeze tighter each year. David pushing Trevor to be a man. Brandy expecting better grades, better behavior, better everything. The arguments that got louder and more frequent as Trevor got older. And Carrie never saw that Facebook post from 2019. Never knew Brandy had been struggling with Trevor for years. Carrie remembers conversations now that feel like warnings he should have caught. Age 10. Sometimes I feel like I'm disappointing everyone. Age 12. I can't breathe in my own house sometimes. Age 13. You ever feel like you're stuck and there's no way out? Each time, Carrie would change the subject, make a joke, suggest they play Xbox, because Trevor's house looked perfect to him. It was perfect, the stable home Carrie wished he had. How could he see the cracks in something he envied? Now he wishes he had asked more questions, pushed harder, been a better friend. Because maybe, if someone had really listened to Trevor, David and Brandy would still be alive. Clay County Sheriff's detectives pieced together the final night, 11:30 p.m. Trevor and his parents argued about his grades. Voices were raised, doors slammed, 12:15 a.m. Trevor called Carrie, said goodnight, said, I love you. 12:47 a.m. 2 gunshots fired inside the home. 1:15 a.m. Trevor called 911 from Middleburg Baptist Church. 1:22 a.m. Deputies arrived at the church, found Trevor sitting quietly on the steps. The gun belonged to David, legally purchased, properly stored except Trevor knew the combination. No signs of struggle. No indication that David or Brandy saw it coming. Sheriff Michelle Cook said it was one of the most matter-of-fact confessions she'd encountered in 25 years of law enforcement. The full transcript was released later. It's haunting. 911 operator. 911. What's your emergency? Trevor, I just shot my parents. 911 operator. You did what, sweetie? Trevor, I killed my parents. David Lee and Brandy Smith. They're at 1247 Silver Point Road. 911 operator. Okay, honey. Are you hurt? Are you safe? Trevor, I'm fine. I walked to the church. I need to pray. 911 operator. What church are you at? Trevor, Middleburg Baptist. I'll wait here for the deputies. 911 operator. Trevor, can you tell me why this happened? Trevor, we had an argument. It got bad. I couldn't handle it anymore. The call lasted 12 minutes. Trevor never raised his voice, never cried, never asked for help. He just waited. Middleburg is the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. Small town, good families, safe neighborhoods. This wasn't supposed to happen here. Margaret Williams, neighbor. I've known that family for 8 years. David would help anyone fix their car. Brandy brought us soup when my husband was sick. Trevor mowed our lawn for free. Principal Johnson, Oberg High. Trevor was never a problem. Quiet. Yes, but respectful. His teachers liked him. This is unthinkable. Pastor Mike Davis, Middleburg Baptist. When the police called and said there was a boy at our church who had confessed to murder, I thought it was a mistake. Not Trevor. Not that sweet kid who came to youth group. The narrative was the same everywhere. Good family. Good kid. Nobody saw this coming. But was anyone really looking? Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to talk about. Brandy Smith Lee tried to warn us 6 years ago on Facebook, in plain sight. This little boy gives me pure hell. She was asking for help, crying out for support, admitting she was struggling with her 9-year-old son. And what did we do? We scrolled past, hit like, and moved on. Treated it like a joke instead of a plea. Because we do that, don't we? When someone's pain shows up in our feed, we treat it like entertainment. How many parents posted about struggling with their kids this week? How many asked for prayers? How many are crying for help while we double tap and keep scrolling? This story isn't just about Trevor Lee. It's about every quiet kid walking school hallways with a war in their head. It's about every parent posting cryptic messages about their difficult child. It's about every family that looks perfect on the outside while falling apart on the inside. Boys especially get missed. We see anger and think, boys will be boys. We see silence and think, he's just growing up. We see defiance and think, he'll grow out of it. But what if he doesn't? What if that 9-year-old giving his mom pure hell becomes a 14-year-old with access to weapons? What if the warning signs are right there, and we're just not seeing them? The damage from that Monday night goes far beyond 2 deaths. Carrie Beeman is in therapy, struggling with survivor's guilt and the impossible grief of losing both his second parents and his best friend in one night. The extended family is planning 2 funerals while trying to understand how their nephew or grandson could do something so unthinkable. The Middleburg community is questioning everything: their safety, their ability to recognize warning signs, their failure to help a struggling family. Trevor Lee will spend his adolescence and early adulthood behind bars, carrying the weight of 2 murders and a lifetime of what ifs. The other kids at school are getting counseling, learning that someone they knew and trusted was capable of the unthinkable. One moment of violence, generations of trauma. Dr. Sarah Martinez, child psychologist. We often miss the signs in good kids because we don't expect them to be struggling. Trevor was polite, respectful, academically adequate, but compliance can sometimes mask deep internal pressure. Detective Ray Johnson, Clay County. In my experience, the most dangerous situations are often the quietest ones. The families that look perfect from the outside sometimes have the most pressure cooking underneath. Dr. James Wilson, juvenile crime specialist. That Facebook post from 2019 is crucial. The mother was identifying concerning behavior patterns years before the crime. Early intervention could have changed everything. Trevor Lee was charged as an adult with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Florida law allows prosecutors to charge juveniles as adults for serious violent crimes. His defense attorney, Maria Santos, argued for juvenile court. This is a child who snapped under pressure. He needs treatment, not life in prison. The prosecution disagreed. Premeditation is clear. He accessed a weapon, used it deliberately, then calmly called 911. This isn't a momentary lapse, it's calculated murder. The case is still pending. Trevor remains in juvenile detention while the courts decide his fate. What if this was your kid? What if your quiet, respectful, good teenager was falling apart and you never knew? What if you posted about struggling with them and everyone scrolled past? What if the last conversation you had was really goodbye? What if this was your friend's kid? What if you saw warning signs and didn't speak up because it wasn't your place? What if you liked their Facebook posts about struggling but never offered real help? What if this was you? What if you were the parent posting cries for help that got ignored? What if you were the kid carrying pressure you couldn't name? What if you were the friend who missed all the signs? Think about your Facebook feed right now. Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform you use. How many parents have posted about struggling with their kids this week? This kid is going to be the death of me. Pray for us. Teenager drama is real. I don't know what to do with this child. How many of those posts did you scroll past? How many did you treat like jokes instead of cries for help? Brandy Smith Lee tried to tell us what was coming. This little boy gives me pure hell. Everything I did to my parents, I'm getting it back times 10. She wasn't just venting, she was prophesying, but prophecies only matter if someone's listening. For parents, if you're struggling with your child's behavior, get professional help. Don't just post about it, act on it. Take your own social media posts seriously. If you're asking for prayers, also ask for resources. Early intervention matters. A difficult 9-year-old needs support, not just hope they'll grow out of it. For friends and community, when someone posts about struggling, respond with resources, not just likes. Check in on families that seem perfect, they might need help the most. Take warning signs seriously, even from good kids. For everyone, mental health support should be accessible before crisis hits. Gun safety means securing weapons from all family members, including trusted ones. Social media cries for help deserve real-world responses. The house on Silver Point sits empty. For sale sign in the yard. No buyers yet. Nobody wants to live where a family died. Carrie visits sometimes. Sits in his car outside. Can't bring himself to go in. He's starting his senior year at a different school. Couldn't handle walking the same halls where everyone knew his story. Trevor writes him letters from detention. Carrie hasn't opened them. How do you forgive someone who destroyed everything you loved? Trevor's case is scheduled for trial next year. The prosecution is seeking life without parole. His defense team is arguing for mental health intervention and juvenile sentencing. The community is divided. He's just a kid who made a terrible mistake. He murdered 2 people in cold blood. The system failed him long before he failed them. Justice demands consequences. There are no easy answers. There never are when children kill. Carrie still has Trevor's final text. Love you, bro. He's changed. Phones twice since that night. Transferred the message each time. Can't delete it. Can't read it without crying. Because it represents everything. The friendship that defined his childhood. The family that saved him. The night that destroyed everything. Sometimes, I love you is the last thing someone says before they destroy the world. This story isn't really about Trevor Lee. It's about us. About how we scroll past pain. Ignore warning signs. Miss the cries for help hiding in plain sight. About how we let families struggle alone until struggle becomes tragedy. About how we fail kids like Trevor until they fail everyone else. The question isn't how this happened. The question is, how many more times will it happen because we're not paying attention? There's a parent posting about their difficult child. There's a kid feeling pressure they can't handle. There's a family looking perfect while falling apart. There's a friend noticing warning signs, but not speaking up. Will you scroll past? Or will you do something different? Drop a comment below. Have you ever seen warning signs you didn't act on? Have you posted about struggling and gotten no real help? What would you do differently now? If you're that parent struggling in silence, get help. Find resources. Don't just ask for prayers. If you're that kid carrying pressure you can't handle, tell someone. Find an adult who will listen. If you're that friend seeing warning signs, speak up. Better to be wrong than to be sorry. Trevor Lee's story is over, but the next one is just beginning. The warning signs are there. We just have to start seeing them.